Chapter 4. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite, and said, If one venture a word unto you, wilt you be weary? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, you have instructed many, and you have strengthened the weak hands. Your words have upholden him that was fallen, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are affrighted. Is not your fear of God your confidence, and your hope the integrity of your ways? Remember, I pray you, whoever perisheth, being innocent, or where were the upright cut off? According as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow mischief reap the same. By the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of his anger are they consumed. The lion roars, and the fierce lion howls, but the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey. The whelps of the lioness are scattered abroad. Now a word was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a whisper thereof. In thoughts from the visions of night, when deep sleep falleth on men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, and all my bones were made to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face, that made the hair of my flesh to stand up. It stood still, but I could not discern the appearance thereof. A form was before mine eyes. I heard a still voice. Shall mortal man be just before God? Shall a man be pure before his Maker? Behold, he putteth no trust in his servants, and his angels he chargeth with folly. How much more them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before the moth? Betwixt morning and evening they are shattered. They perish forever without any regarding it. Is not their tent cord plucked up within them? They die, and that without wisdom. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. And in the last chapter, remember Job, he had begun to speak. Remember there, Job and his three friends, his three companions have come to comfort him. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, they're all sitting there. They're gathered there. Job is covered with boils. He's feeling extremely bad for himself, and he is in great misery. And Job began, in the last chapter, he opened his mouth and began to speak after these 7 days they had all sat there. And Job was cursing the day he was born. He was sorry that he was ever born. He had come forth into great bitterness. Even though Job had had much enjoyment in his life, he was now brought to this great bitterness of the flesh. He was sick, and this was what he had feared most, a great suffering before he died. We'll find out. Job is being tried by the Lord, and he declared in the last verse this thing that he did fear had come upon him, and he, even though he was not a man that didn't have trouble, he had trouble in his life. He wasn't looking for trouble, but we'll find out trouble has come upon him, and we're going to pick it up here in verse 1. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said, now Eliphaz is that this mighty one of pure gold, or this one of that's been refined greatly even. He is the Temanite, and the Temanite are those of Teman, and those of Teman means south. And anytime the south, we look toward the south, we have the witness of God. That parched land, that parched place even shows his work from before. And he is going to speak, verse 2, If one venture a word unto you, will you be weary? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Now, Eliphaz says, if one wanted to say something, would it make you angry? But who can just sit here and hold his peace? Who can restrain himself from speaking? 3, Behold, you have instructed many, and you have strengthened the weak hands. Now, behold, we can call this to remembrance. You have instructed many. You have taught many. and you have strengthened the weak hands. Job had obviously been somebody who had consoled many. He had offered his knowledge and his understanding to many, strengthened them inside when they was in misery and when they had problems. 4. Your words have upholden him that was fallen, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. And your words, these words that you have spoken, they've held people up. They have strengthened them when they were down, and they have picked up those and give them some strength. These that was weak, these that was hardly able to stand. That's what the feeble knees are. 5. But now it has come upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are frighted. But now, see this, that you have seen in the earth, this that has come upon many other people, and you have witnessed it. You have helped them, you have strengthened them in this, but now it's come upon you, and you are weary. See, you are made weak, you are brought down, and art affrighted, and you are scared. This was made obvious because Job was wishing he'd never been born. He was in so much pain and so much suffering, and he was scared that he was going to die. 6. Is not your fear of God, your confidence, and your hope, the integrity of your ways? So now, is it not this great fear of God that we hold in this confidence, that we know that the life comes through the understanding of the law, and the law is the life, this and the understanding of it. Even though all the flesh is in suffering, we will find out it is the law. It's the understanding, that our understanding always, this confidence that we have in God. This is our hope, and this is the integrity of our ways. 7. Remember, I pray you, whoever perishes, being innocent, or where were the upright cut off? Now remember this, and I pray you, remember whoever perishes being innocent. Remember those even that has perished, they were innocent. And all those where the upright were cut off, even that place where the upright's cut off, that's a place where they are separated. 8. According as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow mischief reap the same. And according to these things that I have seen, they that plow iniquity, they that plow with perversion, and that's turn over these things, and that when you plow, it turns over the ground, it brings up that which is below, and turns the ground over. This is the perversion. And they sow mischief. They've come to plant their seeds of wickedness, and they reap the same. And that's what they do. These that they plot to do what they plot and plan to do mischief. They plot and plan to do this wickedness and evil and pervert the understandings even and all things, to take advantage of people who don't understand. See, this is all what it means. These that take advantage of others, they'll end up reaping the same. They think they get away with it. We'll find out they don't. They have no understanding. They have no wisdom. They don't obey the law. They have no understanding, knowledge, or wisdom of it. 9. And by the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of his anger are they consumed. And by the breath of God, without knowing it, see, the law went forth, and they perished. And by the blast of his anger, this blast, it's the same, it's ruach, it's like this Spirit of God, like this great understanding that went forth from God. It was the law. It was the judgment from his law. It was his anger. See, and they are consumed or destroyed. 10. The lion roars, and the fierce lion howls, yet the teeth of the young lions are broken. The lion roars. He shows his great fierceness. And this fierce lion, he howls. But yet, the teeth of the young lions are broken. Their ability to tear, their ability's taken away from them. They can howl and growl and act as angry as they want, but they have no abilities. It's been taken away. 11. The old lion perishes for the lack of prey, and the whelps of the lioness are scattered abroad. The old lion, this Old lion, he perishes because there is no prey. See, we'll find out God has taken away the prey. The prey is gone. There's nothing to hunt. And the whelps of the lioness, these that she was training to hunt, these that were being trained to hunt, destroy, rip, tear, they practice upon the souls of men. They're scattered abroad. 12. Now a word was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a whisper thereof. Now this word, and this word was that was secretly brought to me. We will find this word is going to come in the form of a night vision, as one would be in deep sleep. This thing that is heard, even though one isn't awake, it receives a whisper thereof. It was like a rumor, even. 13. In the thoughts from the vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on a man. And this would be this when he heard this whisper that comes in the thoughts or these remembrances of these visions of the night, these visions we had while when men are in deep sleep, they are lay upon their bed and they are asleep, and these visions come to them in the night, or these thoughts enter into their mind. 14. Fear came upon me, and trembling, and all my bones were made to shake. This fear, these would be the thoughts that would enter. This great fear fell upon him, and this trembling, and all my bones were made to shake. All my bones were made. This essence within was shooken, as one is shaken. 15. Then a spirit passed before my face that made the hair of my flesh to stand up. Then this spirit, or this, even this understanding, or this that comes from God. It's something that comes forth from God. It's a representation of God. And we'll find out it's going to be a fear. This that passed before my face, or was made plain before me, that made the hair of my flesh. And this hair is going to be here. That's going to stand up and bristle. We'll find out. That's to show fear in my flesh. To show fear even in these things that I can perceive in the flesh. 16. It stood still, but I could not discern the appearance thereof. A form was before mine eyes. I heard a still voice. It stood still. We'll find out this spirit, or this this comes from God, that passes before us, that causes this fear. And we're going to it's the judgment, this understanding that comes from the judgment, that but it could not be discerned, the appearance thereof it, because we'll find out it was in the law. And if this form that was before mine eyes, or this thing that we could perceive, or this thing that we could see, we'll find out it's not something that there's an appearance that we can say it looks like this or it looks like that. It was the judgment of God that he could see. And he heard a still voice, or everything was still. There was a calm, there was a silence with a voice. 17. Shall mortal man be just before God? Shall a man be pure before his Maker? Shall mortal man be just before God? Can a mortal man be just before God? We would find out it is within us to do these things. God did give us the power to do these things. Yes, we could say, yes, a mortal man can be just before his God. Shall a mortal man be pure before his Maker? Will he be pure before his Maker? We could say that is up to each individual. God give each individual a choice. See, he give you in the beginning, God said, I give you a choice between life and death. Choose life. See, and we can look at that like God give you a choice in the beginning between blessing and cursings. Choose blessings. See, and that would be God give you a choice in the beginning to observe the law or don't observe the law. Observe the law for your own good. It's all the same choice. And a mortal man can be just before his Maker. And a mortal man can be pure before God if he will try, see, try to stand before God. 18, behold, he puts no trust in his servants, and his angels he charges with folly. Behold, now we can look and see he puts no trust in his servants, those that serve him. The trust is in God that he will make all these come out, because his angels he charges with folly. His angels are charged with not folly. Folly would be kind of just a waste of time. But these angels, these that represent God, are charged or assigned to this shining forth, to these enlightenments, to these judgments even, that do his work. 19. How much more them that dwell in the houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before the moth. Then how much more are them that dwell in houses of clay? Man, we're talking about men here, those of the earth, those who are made flesh. See, these would be those that dwell in these houses, or these abodes of clay, that which is of the earth. These are men, they dwell in the flesh, that's the clay, whose foundation is in the dust. This dust, once again, is the earth. It's even that which is dried. And they're set. That's where man is set. And his foundation is in the earth. And these are those who are crushed before the moth. They are those that are pressed by that which eateth up. It comes and destroys. It takes away. See, these are those of the judgment of God. 20. Betwixt the morning and the evening they are shattered. They perish forever without any regarding it. Between the morning and the evening, from the beginning to the end, they are shattered. They are broken. They are crushed. They perish forever without any regarding, without anybody knowing it. It's done, and no one understands that all this, the tribulations, the trials, all the ignorance, all of it is from the lack of understanding, and from the lack of knowledge, from the lack of wisdom. We're going to find out. That's what caused the disregard. That's what caused to be shattered from the beginning to the end, from the morning to the evening, the whole day, your whole life, your whole understanding. What? Your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. God said it was the law in the beginning. None have it. 21. Is not their tent cord plucked up within them? They die, and that without wisdom. Their tent cord is plucked up within them. Their ability to remain is taken away. They have no understanding. They don't keep the word of God. They go forth. Even those that claim to have understanding will find out they perish with the rest of them. They are trapped within their understanding. God already set them in their boundaries. None turn, none repent. None lift up God, none lift up his understanding or the knowledge or the wisdom he gave you even in the beginning. And they die. This is what happens. Another generation perishes, they're taken away, and all of them, none without understanding. Let's go to chapter 5. Turn and return.